pile of destruction here is incredible. That's some dirty progress right there. My friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. For this adventure, we are going to attempt to make our way up to the Green Forest. Is that possible? I do not know. Together, we will find out. I'm going to do just a little bit of driving, then we'll pull over and we'll do a little bit of talking and explain the situation. Everyone, let's drive. It is time to discuss what basically has taken place here, just in case you do not know. Roughly 1 month ago, Hurricane Helene came through the area, and the damage and destruction here was unprecedented. Thousands of bridges washed out, thousands of roads destroyed. This was truly a once-in-a-thousand-year storm. So it's been 1 month since the storm came through, and Western North Carolina is now officially open. Previously, all of Western North Carolina was considered to be closed, but that's no longer the case. Because of that, my friends, it is time to go see whether or not we can access the Green Forest. I know already that one of the routes that we could take to get to the Green Forest has been completely destroyed, and it's going to take months and months and months before we can even access it. With that being said, there are 3 other routes that I could potentially take. Unfortunately, every single route is extremely far from each other. So what I'm going to do right now is take the route that I'm the most familiar with, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see if we can make it. I'm going to drive. I will update you all along the way. Let's go and see what happens. Wish me luck, everyone. Wish me luck. Wolfpack, let's roll out. The power lines are down across the road over there. I'm not sure if you all can see that or not. As I'm driving on these roads here, on each side of the road are these massive piles of garbage, building supplies, people's furniture, their clothes. It's from where all of these houses flooded and everything was destroyed. There's bridges gone everywhere. Roads collapsed, landslides, mudslides. It's unbelievable. I'm coming up here on a community, a little town, and I do mean little. I would say maybe a dozen shops at the most. The entire town was destroyed. We are now heading towards the Green Forest. I have no idea what we're about to experience. I don't know if we can even make it or not, but we will try. As I'm driving along here, I can see that a lot of these people have brand new culverts. It's amazing how fast, like, all of the work has come together. How these communities have come together. It's impressive. So far, everyone, I have to say the traveling has been really, really smooth. There's a lot of devastation, but the road, at least, has been holding up. Hopefully that continues. I would like this to be as drama-free as possible. You know what I mean? So what they're doing here is they're rebuilding this hillside. There was a landslide there that took out part of that road. All of this flooded here. Wow. There's a car down there. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. The amount of devastation out here is just incredible. And I'm sure it doesn't really come through on camera. I can't zoom in. I really can't. Oftentimes I'm not even fast enough to hit the record button, but it's insane. Wow. All of this is rock because it flooded. Wow. The creek is completely diverted over here. Wow. That guy is rock rich, I'll tell you that. At my house, I'm grass poor and dirt poor. I have tons and tons of mud and sand and small rocks. Everybody else's like driveways washed into my yard. So I have like an unbelievable amount of gravel. Wow, that's incredible. Every one of these trees have been knocked down. Wow. I'll be honest, I am surprised that they have opened this road. This is a mountain pass. Basically, we're going up one side and we can go down the other. I'm not going to go down the other side, but I just want to go up here to the top. Or I should say, as high as I can go. But this is, without a doubt, a non-essential road. Someone has spent a lot of time and a lot of resources opening this up. This is pretty shocking. And I'm glad they did it. For my own selfish reasons. Which I hate to admit. Hiking up into the green forest, that is going to be interesting. Good news, folks. We have made it. It took a long time, but we made it. Now, all we have to do is make our way up to the green forest. Wow, folks. This is going to be difficult. Wow. Wow, look at all these trees down. Wow. That's all that I could say is wow. We are surrounded by downed trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, just like right here. This is shocking. This is shocking to see. I'll tell you what, I'm going to bushwhack up the mountain here. I'll bring you all back once I've made some progress. This is going to take a while. The amount of trees that are down is mind-blowing, everyone. This has been a really tough hike up this mountain. Where before it was fairly easy, now it is extremely difficult. It's been about an hour since I picked up the camera last. I'm just going up, up, and up slowly, very, very slowly. This place is different. But with that being said, we can definitely camp here. The only big issue is actually making it up here. That took forever. The amount of trees that are down, it's incredible. It is like this everywhere. Every 20 feet, there's a tree down just like this. Just in case you do not know this, the green forest is massive. This is just one section. So with this episode, we are checking out just this one section, but there's 2 campsites in this area. These 2 campsites are roughly 3 miles apart. So I figured that is something that we can do. With this site here, it's kind of hard to recognize, isn't it? Because of all of the damage. By the way, you might be able to hear it, but there are helicopters up in the air today. Basically, they are surveying the damage. They are mapping out the power lines and all that stuff. Basically, coming up with a game plan for this area. Let's see if I can't get you all to a place that you recognize. You all should recognize this spot here. See this rock over here? We have sat on top of this rock and had many a meals, that's for sure. It's almost comical, actually, how different all of this is. I mean, we have a downed tree here. We have another one, a whole bunch, a whole cluster right over here. The entire forest right here is actually leaning this way. Maybe you all can see that, just like that. The only telltale sign that someone's been here are these random pieces of cut wood that I've left behind. That's it. Okay, so I now know that I can make it to this area, and that's awesome. That's really, really good news. Let's see if we can make it to the other campsite. Let's see if that's possible. This really has been a very interesting day. It's crazy to see all of this destruction. So far, so good. I'm not having any issues. This part here, at least, is clear. can see up here on the mountain there's quite a few trees down. But so far, this old dead trail's in good shape. Oh, now we have a problem, and it looks like a big problem too. What I'm seeing here is an entire section of forest that is down. 20 or 30 trees. I don't want to go that way. Let's try going up on top of the hill here and bypassing all of this. There's just so much destruction up here. I mean, I am surrounded by down trees. There's some over here. There's no easy route to go here. Whew. Oh yeah. Ow. There are all of these sharp roots sticking up. But I'm making progress. Wow. I know I need a better vocabulary, but that is the word that keeps coming to mind. Entire sections of this forest have been wiped out. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Even in the worst of blizzards, I've never seen anything like it. We get a lot of hurricanes up this way, and this is by far the worst wind damage I have ever seen. To be honest, I'm not even sure how to get through this one section here. I'll just keep going up. But I mean, the pile of destruction here is incredible. I will have to go a different way. This is not working out. I need to go back down. There's just too much up there. There's got to be a way to make my way through this mess. That too is a no-go. This is not going to work. Okay. Let's go back up again. We'll figure this out. It's just gonna take some work. Okay. If I can't go above it or below it, I'll go through it. Woo! Progress is progress, people. That's some dirty progress right there. Okay. Maybe over here. Ugh. Whew. There's a jet overhead. I'm gonna walk for a little bit, everybody. I'll bring you back soon. I have made it, folks, to the second campsite. And it's in pretty rough shape, to be honest with you. There are trees down everywhere. Not only that, but this area receives so much rain, the ground has been basically washed away. So, like, no longer is this flat and level. It's pretty messed up. Hopefully this comes through pretty good. But all of this has been washed away. This was almost level at one point in time, and now it is all messed up. Let's see if we can't go up on top of the hill here. Let's see what that's like. Well, there's not a lack of firewood around here, I'll tell you that much. It's the same up here, just trees down everywhere. You know, in the past, you couldn't even see the sky. The forest was so thick. But check this out. Now, you can. After all of that hiking, folks, I am starving. Why don't we go ahead and make some lunch? And when I say lunch, I mean breakfast. For lunch today, which is actually breakfast, we are having jalapeno cheddar biscuits and herb sausage gravy. Folks, this stuff is amazing. This is from Pinnacle Foods. Try it out if you want to. Greg, thank you so much for sending this to me. I appreciate you, buddy. It is coffee time, my friends. Cheers to you all. Smells good. But is it good? Yeah, it's good. It is good to be back in the Green Forest. Even though all of the destruction kind of breaks my heart. But you have to keep in mind, in a forest like this, any forest really, nature always prevails. You know what I mean? Those trees came down, other trees will come up. It'll look like hell for a long time. What was that line from Jurassic Park? Nature finds a way, something like that. It's true. The purpose of this adventure was to see whether or not we could get here to the Green Forest. I stated in the previous overnight adventure that my plan was to come up here. While I was thinking about that, I was thinking, you know what? I need to make sure I can actually get up here for a trip before I try to come out here for a trip. This place is simply too far away from where I live, you know, just to pack a bag and go. So I figured I could risk a day, you know what I mean? And everything has worked out. The devastation up here is pretty extreme. The devastation coming up here is rather extreme. Luckily, everybody's picking up the pieces, bouncing back. I mentioned in previous episodes all of the work that we were having done at my place. We've made a lot of progress, people. A lot of progress. We lost pretty much all of the grass in the yard, so one side of it, I just went ahead and I graveled the entire thing. I just turned it into a huge parking lot for my two vehicles and for our friends' vehicles and so on. It's great. It looks like, well, part of it looks good, part of it looks awful, but that's just how it goes. Everything in my area really does look awful. But again, people are picking up the pieces, we are rebuilding, and everything's going to be fine. This will be the last time that I talk about the hurricane. Now that I can see that we could get up here, things at home are good, it is time to move on from this event. And what an event it was. Now, more than ever, what I need is to get out into environments like this. Up into the middle of nowhere. Me, myself, you, myself, me, and you. Wait, did I say that? Yeah. The squirrels. That's it. Peace and quiet and solitude. That is what I'm after right now. It has been a very busy month, that's for sure. So it's nice to be up here. It really is. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. I don't believe I mentioned this, but it is a rather cool day today. We're looking at the highs around 52 degrees up here in the mountains. That, my friends, is impressive. The low tonight will be in the 30s up here. Unfortunately, there's no chance of rain anytime soon. Since the hurricane came through, we had one area, basically Lone Wolf Mountain, that received some rain, and nobody else did. And that has been the only rain that has fallen in the last, 12 28 days or something like that. It looks like it's going to be well into November before it rains again. And that's still okay. I'm okay with it not raining right now. There's still so much water in the ground, so much water everywhere. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and let's check on lunch, which is breakfast. So here we go. Jalapeno cheddar biscuits and herb sausage gravy. This stuff is so incredibly good. I promise you. That is unbelievable. There's something a little bit odd about sitting in the forest surrounded by destruction. At the end of the previous overnight adventure, I mentioned that in this adventure, I would talk about something that I've been going through for the last 4 or 5 months. I'm not sure if you all have noticed the track marks on my arms over the last couple of months. I'm not sure how well these are coming through. Track marks here and over here. They have begun to heal up, and that's because I have not had any phlebotomies in 2 weeks. Basically, a phlebotomy is giving blood, in other words. So, for the last 4 to 5 months, I have been giving blood every single week. 500 milliliters every single Tuesday for the last 4 or 5 months. And that's because I was diagnosed with a strange condition called hemochromatosis. Some of you likely have the same condition. It's not ultra rare or anything like that. Basically what hemochromatosis is an issue in regards to iron. So your body naturally will select like a certain amount of iron to keep, and the rest is disposed of. So think of it this way. When your body keeps 1 unit of iron, my body keeps like 4 or 5. So over the years, my body has been collecting all of this iron and storing it in my joints, namely in my hands, my knees, my back, my ankles, and also in my organs. This disease is known as the silent killer because oftentimes you don't find out about it until you have some sort of health issue. The only reason that I found out about this condition was because I decided this year I was going to spend some money and basically just get checked out. I was having some issues with fatigue. I was having some serious issues when it comes to like joint pain in my hands, my knees, my back. I actually spoke about this a little bit, talk about how bad my knees hurt, right? Guess what? It's iron. Iron buildup in my joints. For this condition, there's only one thing to do, and that is basically bloodletting. So every single week for the last 4 or 5 months, I've been having those phlebotomies. I go to the hospital and I sit in a chair, they take my blood, and just repeat over and over and over. The first couple of times that I did it, well, the first time I actually felt pretty good. It was like doing a blood donation after you haven't done it for a long time. You actually feel pretty good after that one. After the third one, I felt terrible. I was so tired. And it also didn't help that I was talking to the person who was doing the phlebotomy and I distracted them. Well, we were having a good conversation. Things happened. And that bag, I don't know how much blood we put in that bag, but it was absolutely full. Like the bag itself was completely full. The entire hose was completely full. It looked like a water balloon. Anyways, so after the third time, the third week, I felt so awful. I was so tired. And it got to the point, I think it was like 2 days after that third phlebotomy, like I was talking to Susan and she said that like what I was saying just made no sense at all. To me, it made perfect sense. But I could tell she was just looking at me like this puzzled look on her face. Yeah. Anyways, after that point in time, it has been a struggle. Just Giving that much blood that often will make you feel weak, will give you fatigue, and I've definitely been dealing with that. But now, 4 to 5 months later, I actually feel fantastic. All of my energy has returned, and for myself, really, it really has been like in the nick of time, right? As soon as this hurricane came through, I was wrapping it up, and luckily, I have plenty of energy to deal with everything that I need to deal with, to help out my neighbors and so on. That is what I have been dealing with for the last 4 to 5 months. Technically, it's like 4.5 months, something like that. Again, the only treatment for this disease, disorder, whatever, is basically giving blood. This is something that I will have to do for the rest of my life to prevent my iron levels from getting too high. All in all, that's not a bad thing. Being able to donate blood, to donate it, to help someone else, that's a good thing. As far as like conditions that you can be diagnosed with, this is not too bad. Not too bad at all. With that being said, though, there are some negative aspects to this disorder, to this disease. Basically, the issues with my joints, with my hands and all that stuff, it is unlikely that this will ever get better. In fact, it's going to continue to get worse and worse. There have been plenty of studies done worldwide about this, and that's one of the mysteries of this disorder. Basically, iron continues to form and build up in the joints. It doesn't matter how much blood that you donate, that iron is there to stay, and it's going to continue to accumulate in the joints. So, as it stands right now, the best way that I could put it is like, my hands ache all the time. My knees ache all the time. My ankles have started to hurt just about all the time. I think the worst part, though, is like, let's say that I've been sitting down for too long, right? I'll go to stand up, and I can hardly stand up straight. So it's like I'm almost like lean forward, and I basically just have to kind of like move and stretch it out until like I'm lubricated. You could say, folks, that I'm rusty. You know what I mean? Essentially, that's kind of what it is. This iron, it deposits all over your body, in your joints, in your organs, and it's like rusting, basically. So you can call me Rusty Luke, or just Rusty, you know what I mean? That is just something that I've been dealing with, something that I'll have to deal with for the rest of my life. I'm just glad, more than anything, first off, I know what my problem was, or is. I know why I was so tired, and now I know why my joints hurt so bad. Over the years, I've kind of mentioned this. I've spoken about like my hands, they ache, they hurt. I've spoken about my knees, and now I know why. Unfortunately, everyone, I am just about out of breakfast here. Now that I know that I can get up here, the next adventure will be in this area. It's going to take some work to figure out where to camp at. Things are pretty messed up here at the moment. Cheers, my friends. Cheers. Thank you all so much for joining me for this trip up into the Green Forest. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you all coming along with me on this journey, listening to my stories. I'm glad to see life is going back to normal for so many people. I've spoken about the mother and daughter up above my place who passed away. My neighbor's house down the road was basically split in half by the floodwater. I was talking to a buddy at the post office. He lost everything he owned. His cabin washed away, RVs, lost everything. So without a doubt, I'm a lucky one. My yard looks like bombs went off. I lost some gear, I lost some tools, but I'm blessed, that's for sure. And everyone, that is where I'm going to wrap up this adventure. I'm going to put up the camera, hike out of here. That way I can get out of here and hopefully get home before the sun goes down. There is still a curfew in my area. It has been extended. Before, it was 7 p.m. until 7 a.m., something like that. And now it's either like 11 p.m. or 12 a.m., something like that. Essentially, that curfew is just to keep people safe. The roads, again, are so messed up out here, all over the place, really. I think that's the most interesting thing about this storm. It wasn't just one area. All of western North Carolina is just completely destroyed. It's unbelievable. Anyways, as I mentioned, this will be the last time that I talk about the hurricane. It is definitely time to put it behind us and move on. So, folks, I'm going to pack up. It's time for me to go. Strength and honor to you all. I will see you next week with the next reviews and also the next adventure, which will be up here in the Green Forest. Take care, everybody. Be well. Be safe.